Climate protection is one of the central themes of the German EU Council Presidency. That is why events and video conferences were organized as sustainably as possible. All unavoidable greenhouse gas emissions are now offset by investing in climate protection projects. It was clear from the start the German EU Council Presidency should be organized as climate friendly as possible. Small gifts for the delegations were dispensed with, regional fair trade food for catering, well thought out concepts for avoiding waste, and event locations with the highest environmental standards were mandatory. However, emissions cannot be completely avoided or reduced. With its numerous events and video conferences, a sustainable EU Council Presidency also leaves a carbon footprint. The Federal Environment Agency has calculated the emissions with 71,519 tons of CO2 equivalents. And if that was true what I just said, it would have been a real disaster. It's 71.519 tons. We offset these emissions by supporting international climate protection projects, explains Stefanie Böter, research assistant at the German Emissions Trading Authority at the Federal Environmental Agency. The principle of voluntary compensation is based on the idea that it's not decisive for the climate at which point emissions are emitted or avoided. The emissions generated in one place can also be saved in another place by investing in projects that lead to a reduction in greenhouse gas emissions. For this compensation, Germany acquires so-called emission reduction credits, the certified emission reductions, the CERs, from projects that are certified according to the Mechanism for Environmentally Compatible Development, the CDM, of the United Nations Kyoto Protocol. Such a credit certifies that the emission of 1 ton of CO2 equivalents was avoided by the climate protection project. The credits for this compensation are often used to finance climate protection projects that not only reduce verifiable emissions on site, but also bring sustainable benefits for the project countries. For example, the expansion of local jobs or the health protection of the local population. Immediately after the acquisition, Germany deletes the credits so that they can no longer be traded on the voluntary market for greenhouse gas compensation, and the compensation is permanently guaranteed. But what is the CDM? The Clean Development Mechanism CDM is an independently monitored market instrument developed by the United Nations. CDM projects have to pass an examination according to the rules of the Kyoto Protocol of the Framework Convention on Climate Change. For this purpose, the projects are checked for quality by independent experts, and during the course of the project too, independent experts continuously check how many emissions the project actually saved. 3 projects were selected to offset emissions by the German EU Council Presidency. All 3 projects are micro-projects that make a direct contribution to local sustainable development and are located in 3 of the least developed countries in the world: Malawi, Zambia and Uganda. Efficient cooking stoves was the project in Malawi and Zambia. In Malawi and Zambia, charcoal and woods are used for cooking and heating. Wood is often the only source of energy. Not only does this cut down too much forest, the method itself is also inefficient. Because with traditional stoves and ovens, wood and charcoal cannot be completely converted into thermal energy. In addition, ash and carbon monoxide are produced when burned. In poorly ventilated living spaces, this can lead to respiratory, heart, circulatory and eye diseases. Pneumonia and lung cancer are common. The projects in Malawi and Zambia use cooking stoves that burn the wood cleaner and more efficiently. This protects the health of the residents and saves households considerable costs. They will become less dependent on rising prices for charcoal, wood and transport. In addition, the use of efficient stoves reduces the demand for wood and charcoal. This protects the forests and reduces soil erosion, the destruction of natural habitats and the loss of biodiversity. In addition, the projects stimulate the regional labor market because workers are required for the production, sales and maintenance of efficient cooking stoves. In Uganda, it was about clean drinking water. Increasing weather extremes, floods, periods of drought and water shortages are already consequences of climate change. This not only threatens agriculture and food security, but also the health of the population. Because flooding, for example, makes it easier for pathogens to get into drinking water. In some rural regions of Uganda, gastrointestinal infections in particular are now a serious threat, especially among children. They arise from poor water quality, inadequate sanitary facilities, and insufficient hygiene. Wherever possible, water is therefore boiled in a fireplace to rid it of viruses and bacteria. But in everyday life, the complex process is often not realistic. In addition, CO2 is produced during boiling. The procurement of firewood and charcoal is expensive and time-consuming, and the resource wood is scarce. The drinking water projects in Uganda, on the other hand, clean the drinking water with the help of a chlorine solution so that it can be used without hesitation. The water is usually treated with chlorine directly at the well or the water pipes. This technology eliminates the need for boiling before consumption. CO2 emissions are reduced, forest areas no longer have to be cleared, and families save time and money. Diseases of the eyes and respiratory tract caused by smoke from open cooking areas are also reduced. There are often comprehensive health and hygiene training courses accompanying the project. And if you want to stay informed, please subscribe to my channel and my other channels. I'll see you in my next video. Bis gleich.